the fraud, the absolute fraud of Donald John Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, this insane clown, Donald Mafia Trump, is talking about cutting what he refers to as entitlements. He's talking about cutting Social Security, cutting for the elderly, cutting the benefits for the disabled, and cutting Medicaid. He talks about cutting it, but he doesn't explain to the American public how his campaign contributors, his pals over at the Federal Reserve, they print endless amounts of money out of nothing. When the gangster banksters need many trillions to be bailed out, the note manufacturers, the Federal Reserve note manufacturers of the helicopter quantitative easing money, they print absolute trillions right out of nothing and hand it out to Donald John Trump's campaign contributors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get serious here. Why is it that the uber wealthy that finance all the campaign contributions receive those printed right out of thin air, right from the thin air, quantitative easing helicopter bucks? Why do they get them first? Why do they ship them by the truckload over to the Federal Reserve bank system? Oh, and they keystroke it. It's just keystrokes, ladies and gentlemen. They got endless keystrokes for the wealthiest campaign contributors in American history, while this Donald John Trump wants to cut the Social Security and cut the Medicaid for the challenged economically in America. While he sashays his big fat butt all over those golf courses, flying around in that great big 747 to places like Switzerland for international economic forums. And at the same time, he wants to take away food stamps, take away Social Security, take away Medicaid for the economically challenged. Him and his pals will print endless trillions and they'll keystroke endless trillions into their own bank accounts. Donald John Trump, you're a fraud, pal. You're a fast-talking, slick-talking, two-faced, split-tongued snake. Just like Obama, just like the Bushes, just like the Clintons, and just exactly like Pelosi. That's the truth for you, folks. And all these Donald John Trump fans can scream their heads off. I really don't care. He built that stupid, ridiculous picket fence down along the Mexican border. And he didn't get the Mexicans to pay for it. He's got the American people paying for it. 2,100 miles of picket fence made out of steel and concrete. One of the biggest pork barrel projects imaginable. And those pickets in the fence, they can be climbed with a jig. A second grader can figure it out. And they're cutting one picket and just pushing it aside. And you can pass dope. You can pass all kinds of drugs through that picket fence. That picket fence isn't slowing down anything. A great, big, huge pork barrel project of the printed up out of the thin air mafia. You want to know why your stock market's at 28,000? You want to know how many hundreds of billions in helicopter bucks? Quantitative easing they're printing up every night and loaning it out in repo loans? Come on, Donald John Trump, let's have an honest discussion with the American public about your pals that Imagineer money. and keystroke it. They just mark it up on a computer keyboard. From the thin air, right, Donald Trump? So America, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and smell the congressional and Senate nonsense of their Medicaid and Social Security cuts, while the ultra-uber wealthy just party on. The band plays on as the Titanic sinks. Isn't that right, Donald John Trump? As long as you got keys to that 747 and are sashaying your fat butt all over those golf courses and eating the finest groceries and staying in the finest hotels, you don't care. You don't care about America. All you care about your own personal fortune, financed by Russian, dirty money from Russia, laundered through Deutsche Bank and the Dutch banks, and HSBC and UBS and Barclays and Wells Fargo and Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase and Credit Suisse and Deutsche. Why don't you explain to the American public with the Congress and the Senate what the hell helicopter money is, and all this quantitative easing fiat, the fiat reserve notes of the Federal Reserve, the printed on paper, keystroked into existence, worthless trash that you and your pals have enslaved America with. It's an enslavement, Donald Trump. They print it up from nothing and they hand it out to the campaign contributors first. Isn't that amazing? Down at the Federal Reserve banks. This is how they've overthrown America. It's a financial coup d'etat. Ladies and gentlemen, all the information that you possibly need is attached below. Have a wonderful day.